the notion of the traditional big six in the Premier League is over. It is not like, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea and Liverpool. That kind of like, they're the top six, they'll always be the top six, that's Villa and Newcastle have smashed that. And I think actually, Brighton as well kind of coming into the mix. So that's the one thing that I do think is the Premier League is much more exciting at the moment, because it's like, it's slightly less predictable, he says, after City have won it 3 times.
And you don't need a Middle Eastern owner, guys.
No, you don't.
You don't need.
We are American, African owned.
You don't need shade, bro.
You don't need, right?
You don't need. You know who I'm hinting to.
You don't need. Yeah, so for those clubs that are wanting Saudi owners, right, you don't need. You don't need.
Look
you just
at
need
Villa.
a good manager.
You need a good manager. You do need good owners. I mean, our owners have been phenomenal. Our previous owners were awful.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of the reasons why we got relegated and stuff like that. Good owners who
good
know
decision.
how to exactly put. I mean, it's not necessarily like having rich owners. You look at Everton. You look, to be honest, what Todd Bowley's done in Chelsea is ridiculous, and particularly United as well. That club is toxic. They have spent more money than City.
See,
like it's insane.
So for fans who are saying that United owners are not spending enough, I think they are spending money.
It's just wasted. It's where good players go to die. Like honestly, look what's happened with Jadon Sancho. When he signed for United, he was the hottest prospect in Europe, hottest young player, and he was tearing up the Bundesliga. He had until Harry Kane's just decided to destroy everything in the Bundesliga. he had the most goals of a British player in the Bundesliga season, right? And he went to United, and he was an England international, and now he's training with the kids because he's fallen out. Paul Pogba was
he's been treated like a kid.
Harry Maguire is not as bad a defender as everybody thinks he is. He's been destroyed there. And I think the Ten Hag, right, is like. His like 70, was it 18? How does he spend on Anthony?
75 million.
75 million on Anthony. Shit. It is.
What do you think about that?
They've had terrible ownership. Their stadium's falling down.
The roof is leaking.
The roof's leaking. The training complex is kind of old. And so they've had bad ownership. They've spent money on the squad, but they've not invested in the club. Our owners have invested in the club. We have an incredible training ground. They're doing improvements all the time to the stadium. They brought in good decision makers for Emery. They have a commercial unit as well.
This is the decisions by the owner.
The decisions by the owner. And not all have been perfect. I mean, our previous chairman, Purslow, who was the former, CEO, was the former Liverpool CEO. He did some very good work off the pitch. But his one big call was employing Steven Gerrard and was a mistake. And Purslow, Gerrard's out, Purslow's now out. They're being quite ruthless. They're making sure and everything's improving, and they've
the future is bright.
Their future is bright, and they're willing to invest in it. And they're investing wisely, and when they have made mistakes, they're correcting them.
What do you think? Maybe talk about Ten Hag, because we got a few Manchester United fans right on our channel. What do you think about what is Ten Hag doing wrong?
We get a neutral point of view, huh?
He's always asking a question.
People just say bias. You still ask for questions.
I will caveat this as like I don't watch Man United live anywhere as much as I used to when I was in the UK. I think I've watched obviously kind of highlights and stuff and a couple of games. I think the thing that seems to be the problem for me is that the signings, like from the Eredivisie, have really been, on the whole, not good enough. And that what I couldn't understand was this quote he came out with last month saying, I can't play the Ajax way because I don't have those players. And I'm like, hold on, it's not like you've just arrived. You've been here like 2-3 years and you've signed loads of players from the fucking Dutch league in your own club. How can you not do this? So that I found absolutely baffling. He's clearly not a bad manager, but the way that he's wasted money, I think, is criminal.
Because and also, the player can be good in other leagues, but when it comes to the Premier League, it's a different...
And other teams, and it does kind of show. And I do think that the club from the top is toxic. and that he, you know,
I agree.
you know, a very unpopular manager, but like Mourinho said, one of his best achievements was getting that United team to second. And everyone at the time was like, "Oh no," because of the post-Ferguson. You look at it in hindsight, you're like, you know what? Like that was actually pretty amazing what you did with that team. Like that actually genuinely was an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
So you know, and Mourinho obviously is a better manager than Ten Hag. Ten Hag really does need to do something to transform that, but it's not all on him. I think if you get rid of Ten Hag, another manager's going to come in, and they're probably going to fail. Yeah. I mean, short of maybe putting Pep or Klopp in there, you're going to fail. Like, people are saying, "Oh, Emery now he could go. United's going to take him." Why would Emery move to fucking United?
He wouldn't. Everybody knows what the culture is at United now.
Yeah, like maybe if like Bayern Munich came in from Madrid, brilliant. There is not a chance in hell that he would go there. Like no chance. Ten Hag. You know, I almost feel he's got one hand behind the back. The one thing I will say though is like I did watch a bit of the Champions League game with Galatasaray and Onana with those. You know, sometimes you feel for him because like you've gone out of Europe and that wasn't from bad management. That is your keeper that you spent a lot of money on. To be fair. But like those you can't be letting those in. Like that amount of mistakes from those free kicks. The second one was terrible.
Ten Hag come out and defend Onana, I think recently. If you read in the tweet.
Before the game, he said Onana by
was one of the goalkeeper.
One of the
best
top
goalkeeper
three, top three goalkeepers in the league. Then after that, he defended. Is it?
Yeah, he defended Onana.
I mean, from what I have seen, I mean, I admittedly not seen enough of him, but like that Galatasaray kind of result, I have a bit of sympathy with Ten Hag because he's obviously set the team up away from home. You know, they're winning. You know, and there are bright spots there. Like Garnacho looks like one hell of a player.
He's good. He's a good player. But in Manchester United, maybe not developed to his fullest potential.
He chose the captain who's a whiner. What else can you ask for? Right?
Although he is the one player who hasn't had his reputation sullied by his performances. Fernandes is the one player that has been consistently brilliant for them. So I can understand why he chose them. But again, it's not, you know.
There's a lot of elements there need to be corrected.
He's not a captain material. He's a good player, but I don't think
he's a great player.
I said before, he's not a captain.
I totally agray with you. I don't think he's captain material either.
Which is good for the other teams.
Good.
Who are aiming for
My childhood was ruined by Manchester United.
Why?
Right? Well, because they won everything. Like, you're growing up and you're a Villa fan, Birmingham fan, West Brom fan, and then everybody else is like a United fan. It's like, why? Because they win. It's like,
you see,
not
we are
everyone
not
is
the
hiding.
only fans which are
affected.
Now everyone is hiding.
Everyone Manchester United.
Manchester United fans, they are hiding.
Hiding in the cave.
Yeah. You see, where
still a lot of them there, unfortunately.
I think you should be more scared of Villa than Manchester United.
Not necessarily.
From a footballing perspective, at the moment. United
I really told you this now.
I don't think they have a fight for you.
They're not rubbish. I mean, they still have, you know, the biggest fan base in the world. There's still that money still earns money. Like so that club still earns incredible amounts of money.
Definitely.
You know, they just, you know, the Glazers have just taken it all out of the club.